Hey, welcome back. Okay, so now that we have our basic project structure set up, right? I'm going to walk you through the very basics you need for Webpack config. So the first thing we're going to do is obviously make the Webpack config. So by default, Webpack will look for this file called webpack.config.js in your root directory there. So we're going to make that. Okay, so basically, first of all, if you're not already familiar with Node, you should be. So I definitely suggest learning that before if you're watching this. But basically, what we're running is just going to be running in Node, right? So the first thing we need to do is do module.exports is equal to an object. And basically, this object is just simply an options configuration that you're going to pass into Webpack, okay? We could do everything from the command line if we wanted to, but obviously no one would ever want to do that for a complicated project, right? So that's why we have a config file. So this is just simply an object. So if at any point you want to make some functions or like some helper or like some global string variables, that's all totally cool, okay? There's no like, it's literally just an object, okay? So there's pretty much for what we're going to do right now in this video, and that is just basically getting app.js into a bundle. I know it's just one file, but so all we really need is two things, an entry point and an output point, okay? And that's basically going along with what I'm saying, where we're telling Webpack, okay, where is the entry point, okay? And where am I going to put the bundle that I've made with that entry point, okay? So this object, so we have a key of entry, okay? And also a key of output, okay? And output needs to be an object because that will have some values on it. And entry can be actually a couple different things. Later, we're going to be, in the next video, we're going to switch it over to an object as well. But for right now, entry, if you have one entry file, okay, this is important. If you have one entry file, you can simply just give it a path to that file, relative path, and it will just, build you a bundle with that one file as an entry point, okay? So we're going to do that to begin with. And I know what you've probably seen a lot of people do is just do something like this, which works fine. But say, for example, like my app wasn't in here. Say it was in actually in a nested another folder in, right? So let me just open here just so you can see. Okay, so my app.js is right in source, but let's say I made an app folder, right? And app.js was for app. Like, let's say down the line, we're going to have several bundles, right? All in their own folder. Okay, so my path would be like this, right? That would basically be it, right? Because we want to reference app.js relative to the config, okay? So this would technically be correct, and it would work. So there's nothing wrong with this. However, if you're going to be using this in real development, the best practice is to be using path. And the reason that is because it basically is just a safe way of joining paths together across operating systems. Okay, so I never really understood why some people just write the string out like that, why some people go through the effort of doing that, and it's because of this. Okay, so just do it just to be safe. It's probably one of those things you should just do anyways. So we're gonna wrap this path in a path.join after requiring it. Okay, if you're not familiar, again, this is a built-in Node module. Okay. And instead of doing this right here, this dot slash, we're going to do underscore dir name, okay? And then basically path.join just takes in comma separated values. So we're going to do source, okay, source, and app is a directory, and app.js is a file, okay, right? So we got from the directory name, we have source, app, and then app.js, right? That's how our structure is right now, okay? So there's that. So that is our entry point, right? So the entry point, if you have one entry point, which we do for right now, right, is going to be the file that you want to start. So when we get into importing other files into app.js, it'll maybe make more sense, but basically this is the file that I want to be the entry point of my bundle. Okay, and now output is basically also what it sounds. It's just telling Webpack, okay, where do you want me to place the bundle? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do similar things. So it's a little bit different for output. It's not the same as entry, but it makes sense when you think about it, right? So path is going to be the path. So again, we're going to use path join. I can write a string. It's going to be underscore dir name. And in this case, our folder is called dist, right? So that's what we're telling it. We're telling it, okay, the path to our output is from the directory we're in the dist folder, okay? And then the other value we need here is called file name. And again, since we only have one entry, we're only expecting one bundle. Makes sense? So therefore, we can just write a fixed name here. So just for the sake of naming convention, we'll just call it bundle.js. Okay. So I'm going to save that Webpack config. All right. And that should be everything we need. So you see, very simple, nothing fancy here. So if I do Webpack in my terminal right now, it will work because I do have Webpack globally installed. So let's see here. Oh, outputs. I forgot a comma. Always do that. Okay. Let's try it again. All right, so you see that took like exactly 92 milliseconds, very quick, because we only had one file of one line of code, right? And if you noticed here, it spat out this bundle.js right here in distribution. So it made the bundle for us, right? And if you actually open it up, you'll see all this stuff in here, right? Which is Webpack stuff. And you can see here at the bottom, our module, I love Webpack. So what can we do with this now? So in index.html, going to make a script tag, okay, and we're going to set the, let's just get rid of that. We're going to set the source to bundle.js, and we can just simply say that because again, it's in the distribution folder with it, right? So now if I was to open this in the browser, oops, it's my off-screen browser. Open the browser. There we go. Okay. Yep. So we get the HTML and it says I love Webpack, right? So now if I was to go in here and say I love Webpack a lot and save that and then come down and run Webpack again in my terminal, see it's going to rebuild the bundle. And if I reload the page, it says I love Webpack a lot. Cool. So so that's pretty much it. So again, we're using path.join here, okay? Because it's just a safe way to join your paths. The entry can take in a path to the entry module, okay, or as we'll see later, an object with multiple bundles or multiple entries, but we'll get to that in a second. And output takes a path to, well, it takes two things, a path to your distribution folder, and then the file name is separate. And this is important because later down the line, when we do multiple bundles, you get some extra parameters that you can use to change the bundle name, okay? So pretty straightforward, nothing too fancy yet. So in the next video, we're going to look at how we can just kind of spice this up a bit.